Peace and greetings. Um, I'm not sure how this is about to work, but we're gonna give it a try. So I was pushed to write an open letter. Initially, I was doing my darkness to talk myself out of it because I'm like, why? I don't need to. I don't need to go over any of these topics. And initially, I didn't even understand why I was being pushed to write this open letter that I'm gonna share with you all if I share this. Um, Recording, but I get it now. I completely get why I'm writing this, why this open letter was being placed in my heart to write. Um, so both my babies are asleep right now. Yay! My little night owls are finally asleep at a decent time. They was kicking my butt earlier today. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this, and then we can build on a couple things afterwards if that is good with you all. All right, so this was written or initiated at 9:13 p.m. March the 26th, 2025. Technically, for me, that is still today. Peace and greetings. Today, I'm writing an open letter. I'm not sure if I'm writing this letter for myself, for him, my ex, for them, my children, for when they are older, or for you, whoever reads or hear everything that will be poured out within this ink. Not even sure how to start this, but here goes nothing. As a child, I felt deprived of love from those I craved to love me most. However, I somehow have always believed in love because of knowing how capable and deep my heart has always loved. I know love, real unconditional love, exists for me somewhere within this universe. Now that I'm 36, pushing 37, I comprehend the love I have always craved, I have always had within me, supporting my efforts of breathing within purpose, protecting me, pushing me, teaching me, loving on me. However, in my early 20s, I didn't comprehend what I now do. Truth be told, at some point within my youth, I had became very desperate for love externally, to the point I started to forget the value of love and self. I didn't partake in many relationships, but when I did, I would always arrive within a period where I would feel as if I was given more than what I would receive. Over time, I questioned if I was worthy to receive the type of love I give or the love I crave to receive. By 21, 22, I finished a workshop for warehouse and logistics and was awarded opportunity to a paid internship for Goodwill Industries Facility Center in Tacoma, Washington. I took the opportunity and enjoyed it. A couple months later, I was given a couple jobs opportunities initiated by a very kind man of strong character, stern, with a no excuse policy, as he had overcame a lot of hardships to get where he wanted to be. Mr. Garuba was the director of the warehouse and logistic workshop program that I completed, and he was very instrumental in me being accepted for the program and overall learning some very cherished lessons I had the opportunity to learn within the principles of a loving, nurturing environment. Just so happened the internship in it right before I was given the job opportunities that I took without hesitation. One of the job opportunities was at a newspaper company, the News Tribune, working in the warehouse portion. The other opportunity was as a phone specialist, connecting individuals of low income with free phones and phone service. For a few months or so, I worked both jobs. I was extremely tired a lot of the time. I would report to one job by 8 a.m., stay until about 1 to 2 p.m., depending on the task that I needed to complete, and would have to report to the other job by 4 p.m. My transportation at the time was public transportation or my feet. Due to the job not being all that far from one another, I would just leave the first job and go to the second job and sleep in the break room on my lap until my shift would start. Long story short, my first job allowed me to be more independent and self delegate within completing my daily job tasks. This is when I met someone who pursued me and I started to like him a lot. We got along really well. and being around him made me want a relationship with him. I'll call him Mr. Mysterious. We never actually dated, but I wanted to date him at one point. I don't want to date them. I don't want to date really nobody right now. Whoever I end up being with next is gonna be my husband, and it's gonna be something that is completely without doubt ordained by the Most High. But that's besides the point. Um, okay, but I wanted to date him, but he had a breakup a few months before we actually met each other, and I didn't want to be a rebound. So we would just hang out and get to know one another on a beneath the surface level. About a couple of months after meeting Mr. Mysterious, one of the guys I worked with at my second job, um, at the warehouse, that I had a crush on, and he seemed to have taken a liking to me as well. It was kind of strange because I found myself liking two guys at once, but I was single and only intimate with Mr. Mysterious and honest with both gentlemen. To cut to the chase, eventually I stopped being intimate with Mr. Mysterious and chose to pursue a relationship with the other guy. We'll call him Smiley. Though by pursuing a relationship with Smiley, I was going against my intuition, as my intuition was screaming, don't do it. Do not do it. And I was young, hard headed. I'm like, I know better. I did not. I did not at all. um, so where am I at in this letter? So, truth be told, even though my intuition indicated something completely different, I thought Smiley was the safer choice. Over time, I would learn I was wrong and how right my intuition had been. But it took me almost 12 years and two children later to learn how accurate my intuition was and is all along about Smiley and a lot of different things. The almost 12-year relationship with Smiley had damn near broke me from the inside out on many different levels in many different ways. To put it simple, it was as if I had consented without fully knowing what I was consenting to become a hostage under illusion that so bad wanted me to become delusional. And to be honest, I wasn't far off of becoming delusional within a toxic cycle that was seeming to hold intentions of destroying me to the point of self destruction. The relationship with Smiley never seemed to add up, but over time I became uncomfortably comfortable with being loved in, improperly and desperate to have with Smiley what it seemed we had shared together in the beginning. Being desperate will have you jumping through all type of hoops that creates more of a toxic environment within relationships. I started to wake up to the factor of how deep I had fallen into illusion a tad before finding out I was pregnant with my firstborn. But after finding out about my firstborn, I decided to strive harder to make the relationship with Smiley work. Though it seemed to be working for a brief moment after giving birth to my firstborn, it just started to get more toxic between Smiley and I. He would tell me how much he loved me and our child and convince me I was the problem, and if I conformed, things would be better. So I did. But I started to realize I was the only one required to conform. And the more I would conform, the farther from myself I was getting, and the worse the relationship would get. After almost 3 years of trying to fix the relationship, after my firstborn, I was ready to leave and move on, grow and develop. But bam, I found out I was pregnant with my second born. So I decided to stay longer, even though everything within me would scream leave. Things became the worst during the pregnancy with my second born. So it wasn't much, but it was. So now I think that I was led to share all that and to actually go over some of that because some of the important factors is that within purpose, because we all have purpose, we're all created and born for a reason, to do something. Um, and I think that it's easy to get sidetracked off of our paths and our destiny and what our purpose and what we're supposed to be doing when we become consumed by open wounds and trauma and desperate to be loved, you know? And when I was very young is when I started my relationship with Smiley. And I didn't want to admit it back then, but if I wouldn't have been so desperate to be loved a certain type of way or to have love the way I thought it was supposed to be and how I thought I was supposed to have love, I would not have got into that relationship. Um, I wouldn't had ignored the screams and cries of my intuition. Instead, I would have took that time and my younger years, to actually invest in strengthening my intuition. However, there was a lot of beautiful things that came from that almost 12 years that I had with Smiley. That's my children. That's me learning to love myself. Um, and also learning to trust my intuition. Because something that a lot of us do is we, at least, okay, something I did, right, is I would seek for validation. So I would get certain senses and certain intuitive hits. And instead of trusting those, even though I had been shown multiple times that my intuition was something I needed to trust and something I could trust, I would seek validation after that. Um, and that, oh my gosh, that's almost like offering devils and demons into feast, because not everybody that's giving you validation or advice is doing it of a good heart. I mean, that's just really that simple. So, where was I going with this? Okay, so where I'm going with this is sometimes when we're so caught up in what it is we think we want or what it is we think we're supposed to have, we forget to listen to our inner compass, our intuition, the most high, however you want to phrase it. Though I do feel like our inner compass and our intuition is not the same as the most high, but I do believe that it's directly connected to the most high and the divine realms. Um, but so yeah, a lot of good stuff came from it because I'm learning to trust my intuition, and know that my intuition genuinely means me no harm. Genuinely wants to protect us and love us and guide us and see us fulfill our purpose. And when we don't listen to it, we have to learn lessons sometimes in a lot more harsh manner. And so, though for a long time I regretted my relationship with Smiley, I really did. I regretted ever meeting him because it's almost like felt as if he was intentionally trying to destroy me from the inside out. And even more so after our split. But now, what I have came to a conclusion of is that even if that has been his intentions or his efforts, it doesn't matter as much as the lessons that are being provided to learn from, you know, which is we all have the capability to follow our inner compass. And if we follow our inner compass, we're not misled. It doesn't mean everything's gonna be peaches and cream, but it'd be a lot more cushiony than when we're out here with open wounds, trying to love and do all this other stuff instead of actually taking time to heal and to grow and develop, you know? And I realized that within some of my darkest times within that relationship, it was almost as the universe knew what I was going to experience because I was hard headed, very much so hard headed, and I was not obedient with what I was being guided to do a lot of the times when it came to that relationship. But the universe knew that if I had children, something in me would wake up. And that's exactly what happened. My firstborn initiated me waking up from what I felt like was an illusion. And I still see that as like that relationship was a delusional illusion, a beautiful nightmare almost because it was a lot. Um, but my firstborn started to wake me up because you get a chance to see how the toxic that you're dealing with and you're engaging in as well as dishing out within a relationship impacts your children. In my case at the time, it was one child, so how it was impacting my child. And I was realizing that I wasn't my best version. And I begged for children from the Most High. Like, I was told I couldn't have children when I was younger by a few doctors. And so I begged God for children. I wanted at least one. And so I was given that child, and then I'm watching how this toxicness is impacting him. And I'm realizing that not only is it impacting my child negatively, but it's not, it's not conducive to what it is I want for my child overall and what I want to teach them. So I started to wake up, but I still was like in between of the illusion, waking up and still being asleep. But my second born accelerated that process because then when I got pregnant with my second child, things got like extremely toxic. Like it was no talking myself out of like, oh, maybe I'm just overthinking this. Maybe I'm just like it was a lot. Um, and it also was pushing me to listen to my intuition more by confirming things that I was knowing. Like, okay, so one thing I want to share before I cut off this video because it's already 18 minutes. I'm kind of going everywhere, but one thing I would like to cover. So, within this whole 12-year relationship, right? Within the first 2 years, I started to have a recurring dream. And I'm not going to tell you completely what the dream was, but I'll give you a snippet of what the dream was about. So within this dream, it was me and Smiley, and he was intentionally trying to provoke me in this dream, like pulling me in to love on me, and then we would flash to an image where it would come out that he's messing with a whole bunch of different individuals, and essentially they were trying to get me to go crazy and unravel, right? Now, throughout this 12-year relationship, I continuously had this recurring dream. And the first couple years, it was alarming, but I didn't take it serious. Later on, I got pushed into okay, so I got pushed within me not to continue to share these dreams because they were starting to change a little more, like the way I was reacting to the situations and circumstances within the dreams. They were changing. I was more accepting. It wasn't as it didn't rile my spirit in a negative way as much as it did initially when I first started having these dreams. Now I'm sharing that to say that though I looked at those dreams as just dreams then, right? That's exactly what ended up happening when our split occurred. Everything came out. And so I learned that my dreams weren't actually just dreams. My dreams were preparation to prepare me for everything that occurred after our breakup and everything that I'm currently experiencing to the largest degree, um, which I'm so grateful. Um, I'm even more grateful that there was divine intervention and I was able to get out of that relationship. I'm still trying to completely get away from this dude because I feel like sometimes people don't want you, but they want you because of how you make them feel. And so when you're in a relationship, a long term relationship where somebody feels like they have so much power and they naturally don't feel like they are powerful at all, but they felt so powerful within this relationship, it seems as if it's harder for those individuals to let go. And because we share children, I think in his mind, he might have felt like that will be his way to keep me under his thumb. But the Most High has other plans for me. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but I do know the Most High has other plans for me because the Most High been very clear with me in showing me that I got a job to do. And my job ain't just to be somebody's doormat or to be mentally unstable. And if I would have stayed in that relationship any longer, I really actually would be mentally unstable. But by the grace of the Most High, I still got my brain and my mental, and I'm still sane. I mean, it was close. It was a close call. But I share all that to say that self love is so valuable. I don't think we realize how valuable it is to love ourselves because right now it seems like society will tell you that self love is selfish. I mean, you have a lot of people that's on their spiritual journey, they're pushing the self love stuff. But if you really look into it, there's a lot of people that they're quicker to try to convince you that self love is something that is selfish. And in all reality, you can't love other people properly if you don't love on you properly. Like, that's how we learn who we are. That's how we, our character gets a assist when it comes to forming um, and all that fun stuff. So, self love is very valuable. And it's important that we love on ourselves and we learn how to properly love on ourselves so that we're not desperate and accepting just whatever somebody throws at us because I just heard this earlier and it's so true. My grandma, my big mama, and my grandma Ruth both used to say this is the devil and the demons that the devil send, they not gonna come looking like who they are. Because if they come looking like who they are and presenting themselves like who they are, you're not gonna let them in if you got a lick of sense. That's what my grandma used to say. If you got a lick of sense, you wouldn't let them in if you knew who they was. So they're not gonna come in looking and being who they are. They're gonna come in with all type of different masks. And if you love yourself and you're doing what you need to do and you're working on healing and getting in alignment with the Most High and the divine realms and universal ties, it's not going to be as easy to be fooled by the devil or his minions that he sent. Um, yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to post this, but that's that. So, yeah, 'cause it's like 25 minutes. Like, nobody want to listen to nobody. Well, I listen to people talk for a long time.